Right, how you doing? It's the radio guy, the Dr. Mike Prince. Welcome to the Friday episode of the Mike Prince Show right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, our social media handles or the Mike Prince Show. That is for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The Mike Prince Show, all running together. The website is obnradio.com, and of course, our YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. And without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. Well, it is Friday, and of course, that means Friday night football action here in Waller County, Texas, and throughout most parts of the country. Light weekend for our Waller County teams that we keep track on. In fact, within the immediate Waller County area, the Waller Bulldogs will be the only team in action on tonight. They'll be hosting College Station. The kickoff will begin at 7:30. Of course, you can hear that game broadcast live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Bye weeks for Hempstead, Royal, Rose Hill, and Prairie View A&M University. We have our MEAC and SWAC games of the week. We'll give you our projections a little bit later on in the show. In case you were not aware of who our games of the week were, Norfolk and FAMU from the MEAC, and Alabama A&M and Texas Southern from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Saturday college action will have our live game broadcast coverage for the Blinn Buccaneers as they will host Northeastern Oklahoma. That kickoff will be at 3 p.m. on Saturday, of course, right on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. So we're keeping things moving and grooving, reminding you that you can leave your questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, whatever is on your mind and hearts by dialing our 24-hour message line at 713-570-6736. I'll give it to you one more time, 713-570-6736. You call in, chime in, and do what has to be done. Say what has to be said, and we'll be sure to pass it along. Other games of tracking here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. A big game for the Lincoln Blue Tigers as they'll be hosting Quincy on Saturday as well. Of course, we'll get all the feedbacks from these games and others throughout the world of HBCU and our local high school areas. Our feature for today is going to be looking in on the Alabama A&M Bulldogs and their resurgence under new coach Carnell Maynor. He was able to sit with us and discuss part of his journey and really break some things down from a perspective that many would whisper but would dare to say. I think you'll be very, very enlightened and even somewhat inspired by what he has to say. We'll now go over and hear from Coach Carnell Maynor of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this is the radio guy, the Dr. Mike Prince, and we are fortunate to have on the line right now the coach who is slowly but surely turning the Bulldogs into pit bulls, if you have heard me refer to on this show. And that is none other than Carnell Maynor of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Excited to have you on the show for today. We talked a little bit when you first got transitioned in, and then when you got done with your spring ball leading in, and you were talking about it's a new day in Huntsville, Alabama, and it's slowly but surely playing itself out on the field. Explain to us from your own set of eyes how things have been unfolding in Bulldog Nation.
Well, I think everything is unfolding pretty good. You know, we're in a good spot. You know, we're 1-1. You know, we're 2-3 overall. But, you know, we had a couple of close games that we had to lead in the fourth quarter that we could have had a possibility of winning those games. We could have closed them out, and we didn't. But, you know, that's part of the process and the growing pains of having a young football team and a team that's not used to winning. You know, we haven't had a winning season since 2012. So a lot of these guys just not used to winning and finishing, and that's my job to teach these guys how to finish off games and win games and be relentless for 4 quarters and not just 3 quarters. So we got to put it all together and play for 4 quarters, but we're a couple plays, a couple calls away from being 4-1 football team.
Well, what I'm really appreciating, Coach, is how you came over, of course, from the MEAC, and let the record speak for itself. You left voluntarily because of that's a whole nother story. We talk about that a whole nother time. But when you get here to Alabama A&M, it's a situation that ends up being a little bit darker than what others on the outside would have known about. But how you've taken this thing and kind of use it as a rally cry to build around your program. I know some things you may have been aware of, some things might not have been aware of, but when the deal boils down, you were brought there to do one thing: take some young men, make them competitive on the football field, and make sure that they graduate.
Yeah, it's called life, and you have adversity in life, and it's what you do with that adversity. What I'm trying to teach these guys how to be men, fathers, role models, leaders, and don't make excuses. That's what losers do. Losers make excuses. Deadbeat daddies make excuses, and we're not gonna make excuses. We're gonna take what we got, take the hand we dealt with, and make the best out of that hand. So, our guys, and I talked to our university and my AD, and they assured me that we win outside, that they're gonna get these guys rings. So we still got a lot to play for. We have scouts coming to the game, to practices. These games count. Like I say, we can still get a ring. These guys can still be all conference. They can be all Americans. And so they still got a lot to play for. We got a lot to play for, even though these guys wasn't here when this stuff happened. I wasn't here when it happened. It's life. Life isn't fair. You got to deal with it and move on.
Well, it's ironic that you say that. I was listening in to your comments on this week's SWAC teleconference, and as good coaches do, you were making a plea for your defensive lineman who had the 15 tackles and had an outstanding game, although Willie Green was acknowledged as one of the defensive players of the week. You got a pretty good nucleus to work with yourself, too.
Yeah, we do. We do. Like I said, we young. We brought in about 25 guys to add to what we had, and like I say, it's just a process of getting all these guys to buy in, understand what it takes to be a champion, and how hard it is to win football games, and you got to play for 60 minutes because I think they're starting to see that. And, that we had a lead in a couple of games, and they kind of thought maybe they had the game won, but it wasn't double zero on the clock yet. So you got to continue doing what you was doing to get you that lead, to keep that lead until the clock hit double zero. And that's all you can do, and we're teaching these guys that, and I think they're starting to come around and starting to get it. So, I think the future's bright.
The future is bright for the A&M Bulldogs. Coach Carnell Maynor is our guest on the line, on their way to Houston, Texas, to take on the Texas Southern Tigers, led, of course, by Coach Mike Haywood. Now, Coach, what are going to be some of your obvious X's and O's, and then maybe a couple of hidden X factors that's going to help lead the Bulldogs to success on this weekend?
Well, our thing is, we respect all, fear none. So we're expecting a great football game for 4 quarters. And but what we try to do is we just try to take care of ourselves. Defensively, we're gonna keep flying around, getting hats to the ball. And sure, if I tackle them just a little bit. Special teams have been great all year except for last game. We had a mental there, and then so we get that corrected. And offensively, we got to continue to stay balanced. We're spreading the ball around, with the receivers and the running backs, and Glass is doing a great job. And we could continue taking care of the ball and continue getting turnovers the way the defense have been doing. We'll have a chance to win every game that we play.
Now, of course, sometimes the obvious numbers will be led to the one who's leading the depth charts, not the depth charts, but the stat chart when you're glancing from the game from afar. And right now, one of your coaches who used to be a head football coach, son is having a pretty good start, and that I'm talking of in the likes of Brian Jenkins Jr.
Yeah, Brian Jenkins Jr. is doing a great job, man. He's a competitor, man. He's a winner. He competes. He goes 100% all the time. He return punts, return kicks. He don't come to the sideline and take a play off. He goes right back in the game after he return a punt or a kick for 30 or 40 yards. He right on the field. So he wants to be out there, man, and he's he's contagious. He's rubbing off on these other guys and getting these other guys to play hard and understand how hard you got to work to be a champion and win games and be successful. And so he's a blessing to have. Coach Jinks told us about him, and we said, Coach, we'll put him on the board and see where he's at. Man, after we leave that guy film, he was number 2 on the board, so it was like a no-brainer. And he just came in and balled out.
Now, Coach, let's talk about it. It's obvious with the experience that you have, the success that you've had wherever you've gone, and it's got to be, I guess, a respectful situation and also an humbling situation from both sides. You have a guy in the likes of Brian Jenkins, who was a head coach at one time. Now he's coming to you working as an assistant, and that shows the confidence that you as a head coach would have and the humility that he would have as a former head coach coming on to be a position coach. How did that relationship develop between you and Coach Jenkins?
I knew me and Terry Sims had a good relationship. I knew some other coaches that knew Coach Jenkins, and I needed a running back coach and a special teams coach, and Coach Jenkins can do both of those, as well as coach wide receivers or OC. He can do it all. So I believe in having the best possible coaches that you could possibly get. If I got 10 coaches and I got to tell them everything to do, then I got one coach. So I believe in having forming the best staff possible out there, getting the best players out there. I can't win games if me and you and my coaching staff is playing. Even though we know what to do, we can't win games that way because we're not physically able to play and compete with these young guys. So it's all about the players. You got to get the players. It's all about the players and the coaches. And the better your players, the better your coaches, the more games you're going to win. So, I gave Coach Jenkins a call, and, we talked. We talked about his role and him not being a head coach and, him being an assistant coach. But, Coach, there's a lot of ex-NFL head coaches in the NFL as assistant coaches right now.
Absolutely.
So, that's just part of the game, So it's two kind of coaches. The coach has been hired and the coach has been fired. So after you're fired, if you don't get another head job, you got to be an assistant or a coordinator. That's just life, So I don't know why, so many people, think it's a big deal. But I think it's because they thought that for whatever reason, Brian couldn't be an assistant coach because of his past or whatever that may be. But he's been an excellent guy. I haven't had one problem out of him. He's nothing like anybody said, and that's why you don't listen to what other people say. You got to judge people for yourself, and you got to give people a chance. Don't go by what you hear all the time.
And sometimes, what I've figured out, Coach, over time, some people don't know how to comprehend passion.
Right. I can tell you what it is. If Brian Jenkins, Carnell Maynor, Lovie Smith go off on the sideline, they out of control. But if Nick Saban do it and Gus Malzahn do it, they got passion for the game. Look at that guy passion. Look at him. He got passion. No, man. Yeah, he got passion, but we got passion too. Why ours got to be out of control? No, we got passion, the same kind of passion they got. We want to win football games just like they want to win football games. But when it's one of them, it's passion, and when it's us, oh man, he got to calm down and get in control and slow down, and he's out of control. That's what it is. It ain't nothing else. It's nothing else.
Well,
it's double standard.
Well, you know what?
Standard.
I'm glad to hear you say it because it seems like if I were to say it, they say I be fussing all the time. But I'm glad to hear someone else say it because it is a double standard. And the bottom line is this, and I say this and people look at me crazy. Coaches are hired to win games. Students are recruited to A, participate with their God-given abilities, and B, graduate, if not reverse the roles. So if they're doing their part, you're doing your part, and if you're not passionate about it, then I recommend that whoever's not passionate go on to the next assignment in their life.
Right. And it's the same thing with the players. They have to be passionate about this game, You have to be passionate. You got to want to practice. You got to want to win. You got to want to lift weights. You got to want to watch film. If you don't, it's like these guys, I tell them all the time, y'all spoiled. Everybody want to be rich, but nobody want to get a degree and work for it. Everybody want to win the lottery. No, everybody's not gonna win the lottery.
By
You
the
got to
way,
put your time in.
you wouldn't happen to have no
Yeah.
numbers. You wouldn't happen to have no numbers you can share with me right quick, huh, Coach? We're talking right now with Coach Maynor of the resurgent Alabama A&M Bulldogs on their way to take on the Texas Southern Tigers this weekend at the BBVA Stadium, which happens to be our uh, SWAC game of the week here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Mike Prince Show. Coach, you got in, you're changing the culture of this team, and for lack of a better word, this almost has become your specialty, huh, Coach?
Well, I guess you could say that. I'm a winner, and I care about young men, and I think that's one of the reasons. God probably got me in HBCU. I grew up coming from a broken home, and probably 60% of my players come from a broken home, and I can relate with these guys, and my door is always open for them to come in and talk about anything, school, girls, whatever it may be, home. I want to be a father figure for these guys. I want to be there for them because a lot of times their father wasn't there, and just like my father wasn't there most of the time. So, it's what I do. But I'm passionate about the game. I get these guys to understand what it takes to be winners and be fathers and be leaders. And that's being responsible. That's doing the little things, and that's what we're trying to teach these guys because it'll follow them the rest of their life. Football's only going to last, for these guys 3, 4, 5 years, but they're going to have to work for another 50 or 60 years. And so that's what we're trying to get them ready for.
Absolutely. Well said, Coach. We are definitely, and I have to be honest with you, Coach, there's only one school that I will root against you for, and that is my beloved Prairie View A&M University Panthers. but, I'm always, yes, sir, yes, sir. That's because I'm alumni from there, but I'm always pulling for not only SWAC conference but MEAC conference, all of our HBCUs. And part of my driving force is that just as you're a quality coach, we have a ton of quality coaches, a ton of quality players, and a ton of quality football and athletics as a whole that goes unnoticed. And I am so thankful for you taking time out to be a part of our show on today.
Right. Well, I'll see you when we play y'all next year in the SWAC championship game. I know you'll be there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I got something for you. I'm going to be there this weekend when you take on Texas Southern.
I know.
Yes, sir.
I know, but you'll be pulling for me this week. If you'll be pulling for me this weekend, next year you won't be pulling for me.
I cannot tell a lie, Coach. I
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I ain't mad with you. I ain't mad with you.
Please don't be mad at me, Coach. Please don't be mad at me.
I ain't mad at you.
Well, look here.
I ain't mad at you.
As a custom, we allow our guests to have final thoughts and comments during this segment. And, Coach, now the floor is all yours.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank y'all for having me. And, thank all the HBCU fans for supporting HBCUs. We need every dime of it. We need your support. Y'all do a great job. I've been in this SWAC here for 5 weeks, going on 6 weeks, and the support is unbelievable. On the road, at home, the crowds are big. They're much more support than it was in the MEAC. And just keep supporting, and we appreciate it, and we're going to keep trying to put a good product out for you.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Coach Carnell Maynor of the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. They'll be in Houston, Texas, 6 p.m. kickoff to take on the Texas Southern Tigers. This is the radio guy, the Dr. Mike Prince. We're going to pause for the calls, and we'll be right back.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference. Be our history.
You're listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics. Listen anywhere on the go by simply dialing 605-477-5066. Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Listen to the Mike Prince Show, weekdays on the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back to the show. Of course, we take pride in giving you the truth here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network and the Mike Prince Show. Sometimes it will rub people the wrong way, but that's not our intent at all. It's just knowing the truth, and the truth is what makes us free. And I believe that we're at a time in life right now that you should be able to take the truth for what it is, and if you don't do anything else, improve and learn from it. You heard before the break Coach Maynor in defense of Coach Brian Jenkins on how he may have been mislabeled or misinterpreted. And I brought up the word passion. It depends on who you are, depends on what side of the tracks you come from. Some will interpret your passion as one way, or others will interpret as out of control. But that's up for you to decide and figure out what is and what's not. As we mentioned, it is a very, very light week on the Texas side of things here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network perspective, but we will always keep things coming up fresh and personal right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Want to get now into our picks of the week from the MEAC and the SWAC perspective. Our MEAC game will feature Norfolk taking on FAMU. FAMU coming off a huge win from last week. So did Norfolk come off with an impressive performance on the football field. But in the battle of the MEAC this week, we will ride with the Rattler Nation. We figured that FAMU should be able to pull a little bit more magic out of the hat and come up with the win. And we will go as far as saying winning by 11 points. Now to our Southwestern Athletic Conference game of the week, which will have Texas Southern hosting Alabama A&M. I really like the matchup of this game. I like how things are positioning themselves, but I can only pick one. And with that being said, we're going to ride with the visitors on this one. Alabama A&M Bulldogs finding a way to ink out the victory, winning by 3 over Texas Southern. That is going to be our picks for this week. Call in and share what you think about it, or who you think should be featured as the game of the week. That number again, 713-570-6736. My time has expired and I must exit stage left. I want to remind you to follow me on either Twitter or Instagram or even Facebook. It's all the same handle, The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the Open Mic Broadcast Network. And of course, the website is obnradio.com. Don't forget to visit that website. Become a listening partner today by clicking on the PayPal button and subscribe today. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.